Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing one that I know a lot of you have been waiting on. I'm checking out a close to final prototype of Robomon's Island Adventure expansion. And as always, I take no money from publishers, I just want to show off the game and help you make an informed decision. But also a disclaimer that Gabe Barrett is publishing one of our game designs in the near future. So yeah, people have been asking me about this one for a while because Gabe had announced that he'd be sending it to me and I'd be covering it. He announced that way too early because he didn't send me the prototype for quite a while. And even once I got it, he hadn't sent the rulebook update for quite a while. So finally, I can try it out and see how things go. And just glancing through, a lot of the adventuring stuff is pretty similar to what I previewed years ago, but the combat system is quite a bit different, and at least on a quick glance looks quite good, because I'm playing this blind somewhat, so you can experience the stuff along with me. And yeah, obviously, spoiler alert, I'm going to be playing through the first 30 to 60 minutes of the Island Adventure. So if you don't want to know anything about this except my thoughts, you can skip to the end of the video. But besides that, we got a little comic introduction. Let's jump in. Several dozen miles from the Alloy Coast.
It's no use! We've got to get below!
What in the... Where the heck am I? Where the heck are you? You're on Shipwreck Shore. So just like in the prototype, you can scan the QR code to get little music for wherever you are. You can free roam around. This is an open world adventure, but I can also interact with all these things. I'll probably just do all of them on this initial map. You can try to capture certain Pokemon based on where you are. I've got 2 potential options here. And I've got a character sheet, in this case for Gerald. So I got to assign my stats. These won't change throughout the game, and they'll just modify skill checks. So I got +2 in strength, +1 in charisma, and -1 in agility. All the rest are 0. And then the thing you'll be gaining and losing most often is silver and batteries, so they suggest using tokens and stuff for it. But actually, in this prototype, they gave me a little spinny tracker for each. For these other items, you can just write them in as you gain them. I also start out with 4 cards in my luck pile. That's going to play a part once we get into combat. We'll also add cards to the trouble pile as things pop up. And there are a ton of other cards, again, mostly coming out in combat. But let's get into exploring our first area and having some encounters. Shipwreck Shore. Splintered boards and waterlogged crates wash in and out with the tide. Part of your ship can still be seen above water, but most of it is now resting peacefully on the ocean floor. You can hear birds and other animals around you, so you know Robomon have been diligently working to restore the island's habitats. As you survey the area, you can see a radio tower at the top of the mountain in the distance. And I guess I'll just encounter these people in order. Let's check out A. And what you do is you just flip to the other side of the page, and you've got things for each of the letters, although many of them will send us deeper in the book into actual number-based things and sometimes combat. Captain Leroy. The captain looks out over the waves, watching as his ship is slowly dragged down to its watery grave. "Aye, she was the best vessel a sea dog could ask for," he says. "Since the radio couldn't swim, we'll need to find a way to communicate with Ranger HQ to get off this here island." He sighs and continues. "Looks like almost nothing washed ashore, just one lonely Robomon crate, but I can't remember the combination to open it." And speaking of the crate, we'll check that out next. Oh, and this one's a puzzle. Yeah, I was already looking at this earlier as I was flipping through, so I could get a hint, but I'm pretty sure we're doing shapes, and that arrow thing is telling me to go clockwise at the top. So I'm guessing it's 3 for the triangle, 1 for the circle, 6, right? That's a hexagon, and 4. So 3, 1, 6, 4. I'll check that entry, and it'll tell me if that's right. Hey, good job, me. You slowly spin the dial on the lock and feel it grinding through the bits of sand that have found their way inside. Once you get to the final number, you feel the mechanism click, and you pull the lock open. You open the crate's lid and find a Robomon inside. It's your old friend Sparky. Unfortunately, it seems his systems are completely waterlogged. Maybe there's a town nearby with someone who can help you dry him out and get things working again. And it tells me to draw adventure card 4. These are kept in order. So this is item G1, waterlogged Robomon. Need to find a way to dry it out. Okay, next we'll check out this treasure chest. Oh, here we go. 1 small reprogrammer. That's the equivalent in this game of Pokeballs. So that's what you use to capture the guys. 15 batteries. I'll dial that in on my battery tracker. And adventure card 1. Oh, nice, which is a map of the island to show me where everything is. I'm on the 1 in the bottom right now. Okay, we got some crates. Let's do D and E. D. Rummage through the soaking wet crate to see what supplies you can find. Oh, 5 more reprogrammers and 2 silver. And this adventure card is an item card. I think it is one-time use. After a battle, repair all your Robomon back to full hit points. This other crate. You find a crate full of Robomon Ranger field manuals. These will come in handy when you need to remember how to do things by the book. Oh, haha. These just direct me to the rulebook page where I can learn how to get wild Robomon or go in battle. I'll be doing that soon. Some kind of item where the ones are moving. Okay. And nice, a weakness guide. for what they have advantage and disadvantage against. Cool. We'll get to the Robomon soon. F is this guitar lady. As the ship sinks down, 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 I'm glad you didn't drown, drown, drown. Welcome to the Isle, Isle, Isle. We hope it makes you smile, smile, smile. And that was pretty good for improvised. Oh, sorry, the woman says as she stops strumming her guitar. Sometimes I get lost in the melody. You compliment her song, then ask if she knows if there might be a communication tower on the island. Of course, she turns and points behind her. It's on top of the mountain. I worked there for a while, but the woman who runs it is kind of a rust bucket. So good luck dealing with her. These days, I just focus on my music, but a lot of my songs are inspired by my time there. Fair enough, we got a broken radar thing, it looks like. Washed up radio dish. A piece of a ship's radio array is here, but it looks like the rest of it has been scavenged. Those pieces might be useful for contacting the mainland. Wish there was more of a clue than just footprints. Whoever took it wasn't even wearing shoes you can track. And I found this radio dish item. Can't do much with it yet. And yeah, just looking to verify. You don't see any tracks here. So I guess I really will just have to figure it out later. And I think this is the last regular one here. H.
I just received a big order of rice, the woman says. If you need any, just let me know.
Oh, if you have a waterlogged Robomon, yes I do. You asked the lady if she has a way to dry out Sparky.
Of course I do, honey, she says. A lot of people think you can put electronics in rice to dry them out, but that's just a silly myth left over from the world that was. But I do happen to have a small machine I use to get moisture out of the rice bags. She reaches into her bag, retrieves the device, and points it at Sparky. Yo, discard Adventure 4 and draw Robomon 1 or 0, yay. So I get Sparky's Robomon card, just to kind of go through things a little bit here. In the upper left is his type. He's a normal type, so he doesn't have any weaknesses or strengths. In the upper right are his starting, I forget what it is, structure, gears. It's basically their life. And his power to use special attacks and things. If either of those go down to 0, he is defeated. Yeah, then it says his weaknesses on the very right underneath those, but it says none, because again, he's normal type. He's got speed, which actually I'm not sure what that's for yet in reading the combat rules. Maybe it's checked by some of the AI targeting or something. He's got defense that's subtracted from each attack that he's not weak to. He's got 1 movement. Gosh, that's slow. Then he's got 2 attacks and 1 ability at the bottom there. So Bite is a normal attack. That's on the left, and it does 2 damage. Oh, never mind. I guess it's 2 abilities. Boost is a normal. He takes 1 damage to give any Robomon on my team 2 power. I guess that includes himself. Or he can repair if he spends 2 of his own power to give a Robomon 2 hit points. So cool, nice little support guy. And then I also take the matching number. He was 000, right? And that's how he's going to be represented on the battle map. All right, I've got one more thing on the map to do. This is a discover space. And here looks like it's going to be a skill check. You search the beach for more supplies. You notice something shiny sticking out of the rocks. To yank it out or dig it out. And the rulebook said this usually leads to a different skill check. I'm guessing with my strength, yanking it'll be better. Okay, I called that correctly. You stretch your arms and back for a moment, then put both hands around the object that's stuck in the rocks. In your head, you count to 3 and then pull with everything you've got. All right, skill checks, very simple thing. You roll 2 d10s. An 11 or higher is a pass. A 10 or lower is a fail. If you have a matching skill, which I do, strength +2, you can use that. And if you have any reroll tokens, which I haven't gotten yet, you can reroll 1 or both dice with one of those. And okay, wow, that worked out well because it's 9, but with my +2 strength, it's just enough to pass. But then additionally, whenever you do a skill check, you check which die is higher. In this case, the trouble die is higher, so I'm going to take one of these trouble cards and add it to my little stack next to my board. If the green had been higher, I would have gotten a luck card. If they had been equal, I would have gotten neither. And these are things that, again, I'll be drawing during combat if I have any in the relevant pile. You strayed for several seconds and manage to slowly work the object free. You give it one final tug and feel something snap as you pull a metal box from the rocks. As you yank it out, the momentum sends you stumbling backwards and you tumble into the sand. You hear Captain Leroy chuckle and yell, "Man overboard!" Gain 3 batteries, all right? All right, so I fully explored the map, but there are 3 more things I can do here. But they all cost me some of my batteries. So for 1 battery, the bottom right option, I can draw an exploration card from the beach. There's a big deck of those, and I can do that as many times as I want to spend batteries. For 2 batteries, I can try to catch that like turtle-ish Pokemon. And for 3 batteries, I can try to catch the crab. Well, let's do all of it. So I've got 18 battery. We're going to boil it down to 17 to do the exploration first. And again, there's a bunch of these beach cards. I'm going to draw on the top one. And here we got a side quest, Future Mechanic Kai. A boy sits beside a half-sunken fishing skiff, clutching a wrench that's far too big for him. It's my dad's boat, he says. He thinks the sea took it, but I think I can fix it.
He points at a cracked energy coupler.
If I had a wire, I could jumpstart the battery.
To help Kai, lose 1 wire and turn to 3257. So it is a side quest. I don't have to be able to complete it immediately. I definitely don't have the wire. It just goes in my player area. And they do say you can complete it at any location, so I don't have to like specifically go back to the beach to do it. I can just at any time I have a wire, discard it, and see what Kai's reward is. Okay, now let's try to catch a Pokemon. So I'm spending 2 for the turtle guy. And it's time for a dexterity element. So right now I've only got small reprogrammers, which use this D4 die. If I wanted to use a medium reprogrammer, I could roll a D6 instead. And I take the Robomon card that matches the number of that guy, and I look at the back. And you'll see that at the bottom, there are different results, which is going to come from me rolling the die and also potential bonuses or negatives based on where it lands in the box. So if I get a 2 or less, I'm going to add 2 negative encounter cards to my pile, which is very bad. If I get a 3 to 4, I'm going to add 4 trouble cards to that trouble pile I showed you earlier. And if I get a 5 or above, I'm going to add 2 trouble. But notice on the right, they all have check marks. That means that I will automatically catch the Pokemon no matter what. Sometimes you'll have an X for lower results. Now, I do say that, but that is not true if I go out of this kind of target entirely. I get nothing. If I'm on the line, I can count it as the better one for me. So if I'm here, I would get a 0 modifier to my roll, but it would still count as catching him. If I get on the yellow, I'll get a +1. If I get anywhere in here, I get a +3. And I have to, you're not allowed to drop it. You have to toss it from outside the box. All right, I just did a bunch of practice throws to kind of warm up. Here we go. Oh, that was good. So that counts as a 3 + 3 because I'm at least somewhat touching the line for the center target. So that's a 6+, so I just get 2 trouble cards to that deck. And then I do have to erase and show that I now have 5 small reprogrammers. Any reprogrammers you use that fail to catch a Pokemon, you get back afterwards. And who'd we get? It's Shellstream. Okay, so he's got 9 health, but only 6 power compared to Sparky. He is a water type, which means he is weak to electrical and plant types. He also, if you look in the bottom right next to his picture, there's like a little swimming icon. That means that he has swimming special movement, so he can move over certain types of terrain better. He's faster than Sparky. He has better defense. He has a Shell Bash and a Water Blast, which is a water type if I run into somebody who's weak to that. And it's also a ranged attack. If you look to the right where it says 2 damage, it has a little reticule next to that, which means I can shoot it at range. And then for his special ability, he can spend some power to give a Robomon a +1 defense token to help prevent some damage. Well, let's go again. It's going to cost us 3 batteries this time. We're going after the crab. Again, it cannot fail, but we want to get higher. All right, and Pokeball go! Oh man, that was a great throw too. So I'm just getting 1 more trouble. I'm down to 4 reprogrammers. We've got Scupper, another water type with a lot of power. He can do a tackle. His splash does a bunch of damage and is also water type. And then for 1 power, he can do Scurry, move up to 3 spaces, or take the damage of any attack. So he can tank for other people, but his health isn't that good, and his defense is terrible. So I think the move up to 3 spaces is the only one that makes sense, and he can also swim. All right, so I've got 3 Pokemon now. I've basically done everything I can do on this place unless I wanted to spend more batteries for the beach. You can bring up to 4 Pokemon into a fight. You can have up to 6 on your active team so that like when you go into combat with somebody, you can pick from those 6 the 4 best that match whatever they have, whatever types they have. All right, now I can go up to map 2 or to the right to map 3. Well, let's try going to map 2, I guess. And we are at an overgrown path. The air around you cools as you follow the path into an area full of tall trees and dense undergrowth. Few would believe that this area has gone from a wasteland to a thriving ecosystem in less than 10 years. You know the Robomon that have stewarded this forest will do an incredible job in the Aloy province, and the work-in-progress Cobalt Woods there will greatly benefit from some extra help. Yeah, I don't remember the theme of this one, but I think maybe this is kind of like a post-apocalyptic scenario, and the Robomon are supposed to be helping to fix everything. Let's see if we can get into a fight. You want to fight, lady? Oh wait, I forgot. There's a tutorial battle. They even say right in the rulebook, once you have 3 Pokemon, go in and fight this, but I figured it would be a character on the board. Instead, it's just like something you can teleport to when you're ready. So first we see our opponent, Ranger Fitz.
I've been trying to think of a joke about learning new skills, but I'm a novice when it comes to comedy.
And we'll have special rules for the battle. In this one, in rounds 2 and 4, the practice boss, those are the enemies, gain 2 hit points, so they're going to heal. And it's only a 4-round combat. If you haven't won by them, then you lose. And then expert mode requirements are like extra things you can try for if you want to make the game harder. There are none for this one. We've got the environment training. Once per round, I can change a 1 to a 3 because you're going to see there's some die rolling in here. If I win this fight, I get a silver. If I lose 1 silver. I've got music again, and then the round tracker. So round 1, we're going to resolve a trouble card if I have any in my piles. Remember, I certainly do. Round 2, I'm going to resolve a luck card. I started with 4 of those, and then back and forth until the round or until the battle ends. Up here in the top, I've got their practice bots. They will never move. They're just sort of sitting there, kind of JRPG combat style. Which again, I'm pretty sure, I didn't go back and look at the old video, but I'm pretty sure in the original prototype, you were like actually moving them around a map and they had like movement priorities. This, for me, looks way better. Okay, so they each have 6 hit points, 2 shield. They're all normal type with no weakness, so no help from my water attacks. And then they've got their attacks. Each of them has a top attack and a bottom attack. They use the top attack in rounds 1 and 3, and the bottom attack in rounds 2 and 4. Some of them are going to target a specific Robomon. So practice bot 1 and 3 will target whoever has the most health when they go. But some of them are going to target specific areas, so we can try to run out of those to avoid their attack. And their damage just comes in automatically, no rolling or anything. But we can use shields and stuff to defend against it. Now, our Robomon will be moving around on this little map here. Some of them have terrain effects. So if you move into the yellow, which is difficult terrain, you need to either have that little special movement skill they show there, the little arrows going in all directions, which none of us have, or you lose 1 power. And then those 2 spaces in the third column are water. If you don't have the swimming ability, which both Scupper and Shellstream do have, but if you don't, then you take 1 damage. That's an icon of one of those gears breaking. But yeah, here are the boards for the Robomon. I'm not sure why these areas are so large. I don't know if it'll be like tarot cards eventually. But I'm about to put out where they are on the battlefield. These tracks keep track of their hit points and power. And these spots are for me putting dice down, because I'm going to roll 3 dice for each Robomon and then use 3 of the 4 actions. And yeah, usually I could bring in 4 Robomon, but I only have 3, and I randomly put them in the left to right bottommost spots of the battlefield. And we're ready to go. So first we roll our action dice, 3 for each Robomon. And although these could be clearer, they correspond to these colors in the bottom right. So the dark gray is for Shellstream, light gray is for Sparky. Oh, that seems better. And the white is for Scupper. Okay, not too bad. Okay, next we turn over the top card of the encounter deck. All the ones in here right now are starting encounters, but remember, if we had negative effects from some of those attempts to catch Robomon, I would have some negative ones that would be right on top, so we'd deal with them first. There are also positive ones that can get added in here. But here we've got Precision Adjustment. Change a single action die showing a 1 to a 3. All right, don't mind if I do. And then let's not forget that the environment that was a training environment also lets me change a 1 to a 3. So we've got very high numbers now. Okay, next, based on whether we're in a trouble or luck round, we're going to draw one of those. So we're doing trouble. Oof, 3 damage. So we resolve that, then that goes back to the bottom of the supply. So it is out of my little area of cards there. Now I get to divide that 3 damage however I like. Shellstream has the most life and the most defense. So let's have him take 2, maybe Sparky take 1. I'll leave Scupper alone since he's the weakest and has no defense at all. All right, next I get to activate my Robomon. And again, I'm not sure what speed it does because the rules say I can activate them in whatever order I want. And I use the 3 dice to do these 4 actions in whatever order I like, but I can't double do an action. So let's go through the options. You can put a die in your movement space to move your regular movement value plus the die's value. You can move up to that amount. So there, Sparky will be able to move 4. And you can't move into the enemy spaces, as you could imagine. You can move through your other Robomon, but you have to end on an empty space. And again, when you go through the water or the difficult terrain, you have the negative stuff happening, unless you have the ability that lets you avoid that. Okay, next I can do an attack. I pick one of the top options, so not the star. So actually, Sparky's boost counts as an attack. That's interesting. And here, the value of the die you place, like let's say Sparky wanted to bite somebody, you do automatically 2 damage, but then you roll up to the value of the die you place for the action, that many modifier dice. Each red symbol you roll adds 1 to the damage dealt. Green symbols, if you roll at least one of them, you trigger any status effects on the attack. But that's 1 or more, so rolling more greens doesn't help. The power icon does nothing on its own, but you can spend 1 power to flip it to any other side. And the defense does nothing in attack, but it is used if you use the other blocking action. And there are, by the way, 2 damage symbols, 2 power symbols, 1 status, 1 defense. I can also do the special. For that one, the die value doesn't matter. You just resolve whatever your special is. Like again, here, he could spend 2 power to heal a Robomon. And then finally, the defense action lets you roll those same modifier dice, however many you placed. For each attack your character would suffer. You get your basic defense against it, but then you also, in this case, are trying to roll shields, or if you roll power, you can spend power to turn it to a shield. and that'll add a temporary defense against that attack. What I forgot to say, very important for the attacking action, regular attacks without a range icon or anything, which right now only Shellstream has with their Water Blast, require you to be in the same column as an enemy, and you can't have any terrain or any other Robomon blocking you. So like Sparky, if he was here, could attack Practice Bot 3, but if Scupper was here, he could no longer attack him. And similarly, if Shellstream wanted to use his regular Shell Bash instead of his range Water Blast, he couldn't do it right now because the difficult terrain is in the way, but if he was on the difficult terrain himself, then he could. All right, those are basically all of the rules. So what's going on? We don't want to be in the middle for this guy's attack. All right, so let's have Sparky go first. Go ahead and have him move 2 + 1, 3. Gonna move here and take a damage, and here because he can't swim. But now he can get a free uninterrupted attack on the Practice Bot 3. And so let's go for it. So we're biting him. Again, there's no terrain blocking him or any other Robomon. We're biting for 2 damage plus the 3 modifier dice. Here we go. Okay. You know what? What the hey? I'll go ahead and spend 2 power to change both of those into hits. There is no status effect with this attack. So that's 5 damage, 2 + 3, -2 armor. Means that he has taken half of his life. Heck yeah. And then Sparky's still got a 3. I could add it to defense, although he's unlikely to be attacked because the Practice Bot 2 is going to attack here. And these guys are both going for highest gear, and Shellstream has definitely the most life and also more defense. So what the hey, let's go ahead and use Repair. So he needs to spend 2 power, and he'll repair himself, get himself back to full hit points. Although if you go down to 0 power, you also get knocked out. So it's not a good idea to just use all your power. All right, let's have Shellstream go first. Might as well attack the guy right in front of him. So he'll go ahead and do a 3 attack using Water Blast because it's a ranged attack. That way he can shoot over that. And that lets him target any of these guys because he's not blocked by the terrain. He's not blocked by the first Robomon because usually you couldn't do a close combat attack against number 1 until number 2 was gone. So sure, let's try to blast Practice Bot 1. Why not? Okay, so here we go. Not as good of a roll. We will spend 1 power to turn that. That's only 3 damage, -2 is 1. So barely got anything through, that's sad. Oh, wait a second. I shouldn't be doing any of this. I forgot that, where was it? Reboot. Yeah, in rounds 2 and 4, Practice Bots gain 2 hit points. So let's cancel that entire thing and not even have him attack. Because with how well Sparky's attack went, I want Scupper to focus on finishing him off. So instead, we'll have him do the highest defense value. And what the hey, he'll go and spend the same 1 power he would have spent to get +1 defense. That's a one-time thing, though, unlike this where I get to roll over and over. And then, I think I have to use this as another action, but I'm not going to move. Okay, and finally, Scupper will move up to 3. And yeah, he wants to try to finish Practice Bot 3 off. And then, even though he doesn't need the water effect, Splash is a 3 damage attack. So let's do that for 2 power. He's got a ton. Oh, sorry, let's use a 3. All right, so I'm doing 3 to start. We'll spend 2 more power to make those both hits. That's 5, which means -2. This guy is blown up. Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be hard to focus our fire here. We'll do the best we can. Oh, and Scupper. Actually, yeah, his 1 ability here is kind of good. I will move up to 3 spaces. So 1, no effect, 2, 3, minus another power. That's not great. But that way, next turn, he can attack and get out of the way, and then Sparky can also run in. Try to figure out how to focus our fire as much as possible. He also sent me these wooden tokens. Am I supposed to be using these to show how much life they have remaining? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, this guy's dead. Okay, so Practice Bot 1 attacks the the Robomon with the highest gear, which is Slipstream. So he's got 2 armor already, and because he's defending, he gets 3 more. There we go. Fully blocked. And we could have spent a power to get 1 more block if we needed to. Practice Bot 2, on the other hand, shoots in here. Nothing happens. All right, now we go into round 2. We'll run through all this a lot faster now. See if we can take these guys down. They do have a lot of defense. That was a good roll. And not a great roll. But I've got that 1 changeover. And also not a great roll. By the way, I think that shield sticks around. I'm not 100% sure until it actually gets used. Can we get another encounter? We can reroll an action die. Let's go for our boy Scupper here. Great. Now since it's round 2, we get one of our luck cards. Somebody gets +1 power. That's got to be Scupper since his attack costs a lot more. All right, now we activate. So yeah, we'll definitely... Oh, and we get to change a 1 to a 3. Let's have Scupper go ahead and do his attack against Practice Bot 2. We are spending 2 power, so Scupper's only got 2 left. But he's doing 3 base damage plus... should I spend the power? Sure, we'll spend 1 more power to make this be 5. Oh, and sorry, I forgot. At the beginning of round 2, they would have healed 2, but that guy was already dead, and that one doesn't matter. Where are they attacking this time? This guy's attacking on the left. And this guy's attacking whoever has the highest gear. So Scupper will go ahead. Why did I change him to a 3 die? I'll go to move him up to 2. He'll just get out of the way. And then I guess I'll do this for defense. I don't want to use any more power. All right, Shellstream can be next. He's going to do another Water Blast so that he doesn't have to move against Practice Bot 2. Okay, so that's 2 damage. So if I spend a power, it would be 3, which would just barely get past their defense. All right. And then I guess for another action, he'll move to the side as well to not get hit by this guy's attack. And he'll get some defense. Kevin Sparky needs to move 4 to get into attack range. And he takes a damage, and he loses a power. Jeez. I could use boost to give somebody +2 power. I kind of want to do that to Scupper, but for now, let's do an attack. See if we can finish this guy off. So I need 2 hits. And hey, that does it. Yay! Okay, then Sparky will... definitely don't want to repair. It would knock him out. Let's get some defense. Which is good, because Practice Bot 1 is attacking... Yep, Sparky. Sparky's got 1 defense plus 2 dice. Ugh. I'll just take the damage. So 3 minus 1 is 2. He's down to 4 life. Okay, it's round 3. Good roll. Whoops. Oh man, how much did he have? I think maybe it was 4. And Scupper, not as good again. Encounter, turn an action die to any side. Well, that one's nice. Let's maybe get this guy up to a 3. I don't know. I don't think in this battle I really need high values for anything except maybe defense and attack. But it's round 3. We're back to a trouble. Oof, 2 more damage. I don't think the shield impacts that, but yeah, let's put it both on Shellstream. All right, so Sparky's up first. I do want to attack with him, but I realize Scupper literally cannot attack because he can't get into range right now unless I repair him. Or not repair him, boost him. So yeah, I guess I'll go and use Sparky's 2. I don't think the die matters for this kind of ability. So Sparky takes 1 damage to give him 2 power. So we can use his splash attack, right? And then Sparky will still attack. I just, oh no, crud, that was my attack. Ah, man. And actually, let's say the Sparky didn't go first at all, because I realized otherwise he would have to go into the water. So I'll have Shellstream go first. He'll move over. He's going to be down to 1 power as well to shoot his Water Blast. Yeah, I set myself up in kind of a bad way here. Why is this a tutorial battle? All right, so we get 2 damage through. And then Shellstream will block for 2. Then Sparky will go ahead and do his boost. And then he'll move to get out of the range, or not out of range, out of the way. So that Scupper can use a 1 to move in, which does bring Scupper down to 2 power. And then, I don't know, I guess he'll zero himself out, which will defeat him, and now he can't spend any power to boost his attack. But he does still get to finish the attack, even though he's being knocked out by using it. Ooh, that was good. So he got 5. The guy's not dead yet. And then Scupper is defeated. All right, and who's this guy attacking? It's round 3. Highest gear is Shellstream. He's got 2 defense to start. Oh, he didn't get any weight. I think that was on the 1, right? But he does use this, so he still takes no damage. But here, attack is what we need. And final round, this guy is healed. We're going to have to get kind of lucky here to survive. By the way, if you attack with an element that they're weak to, then they have no defense, which clearly makes it way easier to kill people. We get encounter. I got to roll. But change a reroll token to a power or shield. I don't have any reroll tokens. At least I don't think I do. Should I have one? Okay, Sparky at least got 1 big attack, and he does have 2 power left, which is important because he needs to be able to move on to the attack spot. Oh, and Shellstream rolled well. Then it's round 4, so we do get a luck card. Okay, that'll help a lot, because that way Sparky can already reroll 1, but let's give it to Shellstream so he can change some power results into attacks. And might as well have him go first, and we'll dial down there so he can change 2 hits into, 2 power symbols into hits. All right, come on, big money. Okay. That works. So he'll spend 1. He's actually not knocked out yet. So that gets us 4 damage. So Sparky just needs to get 1 extra hit. And he's got 1 power. And yeah, it doesn't matter much, but Shellstream will block and then do nothing with that. Sparky needs to move 2. He'll move into the difficult terrain, taking him down to 1 power. But then he's doing the big attack. Bite that guy, Sparky. Okay, and that's enough, right? Yeah, so that would already be 3 damage, which already get through, but then he could have spent his last power and knocked himself out to do the last little bit. And we get a single silver. Wah wah. That was a tough tutorial match. What the heck? Oh, and sorry, we had KO tokens. I was supposed to use these to show when the enemies were knocked out. Good job. And then the rulebook says that your guys are fully healed, which makes sense, because I don't know if you were switching your team in and out, how you would keep track. But then what the heck does the repair kit do? Nothing. Okay, I don't know. That's okay. Again, these are rules that changed a little bit after the prototype was sent, so I'm sure they're still working out some kinks. But there you go. If you wanted to see how the new stuff in Robomon work, those are all of the core mechanics. The video's getting about to a little bit over an hour. Well, actually, with editing, who knows how long it'll be. Again, that was a very tough battle, but if I'd been against people that actually have weaknesses, and I could have used like my water blast, or captured some more Pokemon, then I think things would have been great. But yeah, what are my thoughts so far on this? The adventure side of things still seems really good, really straightforward. It's fun to walk around and talk to people, get items. The skill check system is really simple. The puzzles seem kind of interesting. And then getting simple little card-based quests from people, that all seems cool. The catching of Pokemon is also fun. I think this was about the same system. That was a bad one. I think this was the same system back in the original prototype I played. It's hard to remember, but I'm pretty sure I remember throwing things like this in here. So yeah, it's quick and straightforward. You don't have to worry about trying to catch Robomon for forever. Well, I guess unless you get to some of the nastier ones, but then you want to use one of the medium reprogrammers and roll a d6, and that'll give you a much better chance. But geez, a 7+. Oh, but the 7+ guy is super duper strong, so that's good. But yeah, catching the Robomon, making your team, matching up the elemental weaknesses of your opponents, all that seems like it should be fun. And then the new combat system, again, I don't remember the old combat system super well, but I think having the movement tied to attacking them and dodging their attacks with a focus on you and having their turns be ultra fast, but also the enemy combat being predictable, I think all that seems cool. It remains to be seen whether the combat actions are interesting enough. You saw that in my game, there was pretty much like one die I didn't need, so also my die values didn't matter much each round. And I guess luck could be annoying, but it seemed like I always had a 3 for each character to do the biggest attack I could, which is where you really care about it. 4 out of 6 die faces give you bonus damage or give you the chance to spend power for damage, although again, it could be a little bit swingy and you have such a small number of rounds to beat them. I could see that being frustrating. But honestly, the most frustrating thing was just that I didn't have any weaknesses to exploit, and these guys were ultra tanky. But I guess the idea, just like in regular Pokemon, is that you can come back and fight them again. Like I'm looking at this guy, Surfer Josh, who's on one of the 2 maps you can go to from the initial area. And first of all, we've got a Pokemon in the central area, which is clearly a lot easier to target. They both got, tons of life and shields. But they're both water types, so if you go and recruit some lightning type and plant type Robomon, then I think they'd be super easy to take down. So yeah, again, a lot like the Pokemon video games, I think some of it is going to come down to you just kind of hunting wild Pokemon and building up your team until you're ready. And since it's an open world where you can just kind of travel around as much as you want and fight Pokemon when you're ready, and if you have the batteries, wow, these guys look tough. But you can just collect a whole bunch of Pokemon as needed. I don't think it should be a problem. So there you go. That was a taste of Robomon Island Adventure and the updated mechanics. If I get time to finish this one, I might do an updated thing, although probably I'll just try to wait until the full Robomon game is out and then do a review on all of that. But thanks for watching, everybody, and a special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, KCW, Andrew R., and Chris C. We'll see you at the next stop.